So I want to talk about just a few minutes. I'm listening to Quatita again. I'm catching her live about that woman that she was interviewing, the lady that had all this experiments seem like it's been done on her by higher ups, messing with her body and all of this stuff. And she's trying to explain to everybody, and nobody's listening to any word that she say. And the thing about it is they can't call her crazy because they're hearing what she's hearing, but it's happening to her body. But whenever she's around people feeling vibrations in the bed, vibrations on the floor, and all kinds of stuff. And so my situation, it really can't be proven by any other witnesses. Okay? Uh, but with her, other people were able to see what she was talking about, so she can be so they can validate what she's saying, right? But it seemed like she still didn't have anybody that would stand by her. She still didn't have people to listen to her. Like, they did not take her seriously. You know, and if you just listen to the whole interview, I mean, it's on her channel, Miss Walk with the Ancestors, with Quatita Dean. You look at that movie called The Truman Show. And she sounds like she's in okay, let me just say that we're all in the Truman Show. But she definitely, the way she is describing her situation, it sounds like the Truman Show. Like, everybody has been orchestrated. Her marriage, like, if you look at that wife, Jim Carrey's wife in that movie, she was chosen to be his wife. His friend and everybody was just like pretty much setting him up. They all was in on it. They all knew that he was being watched. Right? They all knew that he was being watched. That's really pretty much why I don't deal with people anymore, because that's kind of how I was feeling. But for me, it felt like everybody was turning against me and my family. Everybody was against me, and I just stayed away from people because I'm not going to keep feeling like I'm the one that's crazy, you know. And I've already had a lot of energy work and all kinds of stuff done, and I've already identified that there's a lot of what you would call supernatural things going on, but it also has to do with a lot of technology as well. People have already, I can't talk to regular mundane people, um, but for that kind of information. But I've talked to people who have already got experience in that area, and they're already aware. They're able to see what's going on, and they can see what's happening. And that's the only people I prefer to have a conversation with. Because here's the thing. I don't want friends. I don't want all this family. I don't even talk to family like that. They can't help me with the kind of stuff I've been dealing with. And the people that's in this lady life, they're not able to help her with anything that she's dealing with. They are not able to help her. I said, well, then, see, for me, that's why I cut my family off. Well, one family I had to let them go because they were actually causing harm. But the other family had to go because they didn't understand what I was saying, and I don't feel like they were taking me seriously. I don't want that in my life. I just really don't. And I don't want to feel like, well, let me stay in communication in case I need something. I'd rather bring a group of folks in my life that I can talk to. I want them to understand what I'm saying. I want them to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. I don't want to deal with somebody when I'm going through something so serious like that. Now, I didn't go through exactly what this lady is going through. But I've been through some stuff where I've definitely been watching people. I can tell that something was looking through my eyes and seeing what I was seeing. Okay. And I just can't. I cannot just live silently. It's like you have to suffer in silence because the people around you don't really. I felt like the son and the husband understood exactly what she was saying, but they weren't paying her any attention. That's not a family. I don't care. That's not family. You know. But I was saying that this right here, the way she described it, was like the husband continued to keep playing video games when she's screaming and all this stuff. He's playing video games. The son and the daughter don't pay her no attention. She tried to get the friend to sign because her bed was vibrating and all this stuff, and she tried to get the friend to write some kind of letter with her signature, saying that she witnessed those things, and then the friend like went ghost on her, changed the number and all that stuff, and just pretty much did everything she could to dodge her. It's like the therapist that she was talking to ended up being relocated And then the other people that was there didn't offer to take up her case. They wanted to send her to a psychiatric hospital where she can get on meds and all that stuff. It just seems like nobody in her life was really taking her seriously like that. The son completely, I can tell, understand what's going on, because he suggested to her that she should put aluminum foil on her head if she feel like she's getting frequency attacks. So he understands, actually, he really understands a lot of what's going on with his mother, but he don't seem to care because it's not him. But it's not even just about him being selfish. I feel like this is a real Truman Show. I feel like something is watching her from this big screen. Like, if you haven't watched the movie The Truman Show, the guy who was watching Jim Carrey is watching through this big old screen while everything keeps happening in his life, and it just, every time he try to get people to understand, they're not listening to him. I mean, that's how it would be with me, but that's why I chose not to be around people. I just really don't want to be around people. I don't even like humanity. Because when you're in a Truman Show, ain't nobody paying you no attention like that. I deal with folks who are weird. I deal with folks who, not just techies, but they understand. Listen, they understand consciousness and all this stuff. I get there. I go there with that. I only deal with people with that. And not that they only understand it, if somebody who ain't going to try to hurt you too. You want to talk to somebody who's not your enemy. Because there's a lot of people that understand everything this lady is saying, but that she could be talking to her enemies. And they could be doing additional stuff to her to cause her problems, because they see that she's vulnerable, because she keeps trying to reach out to people, and they see that she's vulnerable, and people that she's reaching out to could be making it worse for her. But I mean, she can't help but to reach out to folks, because the stuff that she's dealing with is causing her, well, I was having these problems too, but I had a different way of going about things, though. I had different ways of going about things. Like I said, I'm not a religious person. I do believe in doctors, but for what I was going through, I tried my best not to have to go to doctors, because of what I was dealing with, I know it wasn't anything a doctor could cure. So I was really doing my best not to have to go to any doctor. But anyway, that's all I want to say. It's like, you listen to that interview and just how nobody was listening to her. She was screaming and crying out, and nobody just listened to her. They treated her like she was crazy, even though they know what she was talking about, because the husband said that he feels like the government is doing it. So it's almost like he knows exactly what she's talking about. But let me tell you something about the husband. Something is off about the husband, because she was talking about, even though he's older and he's retired, she noticed that he started sleeping more than usual. So something happened with it. He could have been infiltrated anyway. He could have been infiltrated. Really, her family could have been infiltrated. But I don't know. It's just like nobody that she could have gone to wanted to listen to her. And it makes it seem like this is all she's in a Truman Show. Even though we all are. But it's just clear that something is watching her through the screen, and every time wherever she go to, they make sure that she don't get what she's looking for. Okay? They're making sure that she don't get what she's looking for. That's why I'm just like trying to make efforts to move beyond thinking. Because if they're gonna know my thoughts, then I need to move beyond thought. Because the enemy knows my thoughts. That I don't need to think like that anymore. That's why I don't like working that much, because I want to get to the point where I don't think as much. I want to stop thinking, because if they know what you're thinking, they kind of mess with you. I mean, it happens with me a lot. And so I've been to the point where I'm basically just like dissolving this ego part, this ego self, the false self. I just want to completely dissolve it completely and get back to my real self, who I really am. Okay? Because this is a false matrix. So if you're in a false matrix, then you're false too. But for some of you, your real body is actually somewhere else. And I'm just ready to let go of this false world. If this kind of mess is going to happen, just let the shit go. It's a false world. It's a simulation. And then you got to suffer inside the simulation. Just let the shit go. I mean, it ain't easy to let it go, because if you're invested in the false world, then it's hard to just let it go overnight. You can't just let it go. It's a process of letting it go, and you're being tortured along the way. And that's when you decide. That's when you get into joining whatever group you can. That's about that life. That's not going. That's going to get. That can give you feedback. Can you want to talk to somebody who can give you some feedback? And they got answers. You want to talk to somebody who got answers. Now I think this. I don't know if this is a religious woman, but after a while she ain't gonna be religious no more because her prayer is not being answered. So she's not going to be religious after a while. If she's going to keep praying and she's suffering like that and her prayers ain't being answered, she's going to go to a different route to get these answers to what she's looking for. Okay. But anyway, that's it. And I will talk later.